In this InDesign lesson, we are going to talk about working with color. I'm going to select this rectangle here at the bottom of the screen. And then let's first talk about the fill color. So you have a couple places where you can go. Right up here is the fill color. So we can actually double click on that and that pulls up our color picker. It's defaulted right now to the RGB color space. CMYK, we're in that print mode. That's why you can't select it here. It's going to default to that. But I find that the HSB, so hue, saturation, or chroma, brightness, or and B is for brightness and value, is the easiest to work with. So for example, like if I want red, I can pull it down to red. And I know that as I come across here, I get closer to white, it becomes less saturated. So saturated is on this side, unsaturated, pure here. So adding black this way, adding white comes this way. So you can get in there and adjust to the colors that you want and click OK. And now you've got a fill there. You can select the background or the outline color here, the border color, by clicking on it. You can also see it, it's right up here. So we can select none. This particular interface right here, this pop out or fly out, uses the swatches panel. Swatches panel is going to be right over here. Okay. Remember, all of these are accessible under color, gradient, and swatches. Okay, so you've got a couple different places. We still have it selected here where we can go in there and double click and that will pull up our color picker there, go to something darker. Or in this case here, I'm just going to use the eyedropper and find a color right on the canvas there and maybe go a little bit more saturated. Click OK. Excellent. So now we've got our rectangle here. So for opacity, if you want to make it see-through, your opacity, if you're in the advanced workspace, right up here, again, window, workspace, advanced, okay, you're going to find opacity right up inside of here. So select it with your selection tool, drop the opacity, now it becomes see-through. You can see it there a little bit more once it's actually overlapping on something. In this case, remember that the path is in front of it. So if we go to our layers palette, path, and then we have our type, and then we have our rectangle, okay? So some more advanced options here for this rectangle for doing this type of treatment. So let's actually change the color. What we're going to do is fill it with white. Click OK. And now we've got this 67% opacity. We'll pull it all the way. Is going into the effects. So what we want to do is window effects. Okay. And here you've got your Photoshop blend modes. Okay. You've got multiply, which makes white transparent, screen, which makes black transparent, overlay, which makes 50% transparent, and you've got your opacity slider here. Okay. So you've got some other options available to you. Okay. And when it comes down to opacity and just making your rectangles a little bit more see-through. So for example, if you wanted to do something like this, drop down the opacity so we get just a slight color change. Okay. Now we've got a little bit of a color change if you wanted to use, for example, a color in front of it. So again, quite a few ways of changing this. We've got our color window here in HSB. You can switch this over if you want. You could double click inside of there, use this workspace. You can use the color pickers right up in the preference bar or even in the effects bar. All of these will help you choose color.